Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
For starters, we're dropping the 1. From now on, it's just ITV. We think this makes sense because that's what most of you call it anyway.
Later.
Hi there guys, it's Adam Martyn here, and welcome back to another video, and this time we're going to be talking about a certain corporate rebrand from ITV. So this was announced a couple of days ago on ITV's Press Centre website. It says ITV details corporate brand refresh to reinforce its 3 strategic pillars. Well, what are those pillars, you ask? Well, we're going to find out. So this, by the look of it, is the new ITV corporate logo, and some very interesting things here. Font-wise, it's maintaining the same font that we've had since 2013 after the last corporate rebrand, so that is still the house style. The main thing that has changed is definitely the colours. You can see from the last and still at the minute current corporate logo, these are the colours. Now, there's a lot more variety in the colours there, and I wasn't sure at the time whether this was to reflect all their different channels on TV, because, you know, every different channel has a different shade of colour. I'm not sure if that was the aim. However, this one, again, maintains that font, but is simplifying the colours down to 3. So let's take a read and find out what we can. ITV today details a corporate brand refresh, reinforcing its 3 strategic pillars of expanding studios, supercharging streaming, and optimizing broadcast. Building on ITV as a brand with both a rich heritage and an exciting future, the brand refresh sees the overall group band for ITV continue to evolve with, I think that's meant to say new, or new logo colours. As the company continues to successfully deliver its strategic vision of being a leader in UK ad-funded streaming and an expanding global force in content, this next chapter for the corporate brand establishes a stronger connection with its key sub-brands of ITVX, ITV1, and ITV Studios. So those are the 3 things of the ITV brand they're going to be focusing on. So not ITV2, 3, 4, not ITVB. In terms of the channels, it's just ITV1, the flagship channel, then ITVX, which of course is the streaming service, and ITV Studios, which is their production house. The animation below shows how the eye-catching colour of the ITVX logo now meets in a fluid swoop with the dynamic colours of the ITV1 and ITV Studios brands. And they provide a little animation, as they say here, where you're seeing the 3 colours of the different assets here. So the lime green almost of ITVX, the tealy, cyany blue of ITV1, and the darker blue of ITV Studios. They merge into 3 dots, which then blend towards the ITV logo. And I've got to say, looking at the logo itself colour-wise, it is quite nice. I think compared to the 2013 one, this one's a lot more cohesive. This one looks more like, you know, it gels together well. Instead of like there being harsh cuts between the colours, they all sort of seamlessly blend into like a gradient almost, and they flow into one another quite nicely. I thought at first it is a shame that the other like ITV channels and stuff aren't represented here, but then the more I thought about it, the more colours you try and throw in there, especially if you're going for this gradient sort of look, it probably would just end up looking a bit messy and a bit uncoordinated. So yeah, this final result here for the corporate brand, this does look quite nice. ITV Creative and Dixon Baxi partnered to create the updated logo colours and typographic style, which aim to inject a more positive, human, bold and charismatic personality to the ITV group brand that are common across the whole business. A more positive, I'd say more positive, yeah, those colours make me feel positive. Human, as implying the last one wasn't. When it says human, I find that weird. You know, you look at this logo, what about it screams human? Obviously, it was designed by humans, as was the last logo, but what about this screams the word human? Bold, yeah, okay, and charismatic. I think the fact that they're saying they're updating the typographic style, I mean, font heads, you can get on me for this, but this just looks like the same font as the 2013 logo. There might be some very, very, like, subtle differences in there, but by and large, this looks like the exact same font. We've just switched up the colours quite a bit, you know? But in terms of more charismatic, I think when you keep the font the same, it's hard to really find that shift in charisma. Yes, the colours make it different on its own, of course it does, but I wouldn't say the logo before was necessarily charismatic, and charismatic's not the word I'd use to describe this. I'd say the words I'd use, it'd be open, friendly, inviting, warm, comforting, all those like nice and calm things that you like from TV channels. It feels a sense of familiarity as well, but that's probably because, again, the font hasn't changed since 2013. It says ITVX celebrated its biggest ever month in January with 328 million streams, with the service reaching 3.6 billion streams since launch. Wow, okay. I forget what targets they wanted to hit by when, but the fact it's, nearly approaching 4 billion streams and it's only been available for the best part of, I don't think we're even at 18 months yet, are we? So ITVX does seem to be growing, and I think it's a mix of the content they're putting out, the promotion that they've put into the service in general, the availability of content as well. It says ITV is at the heart of popular culture, reaching 30 million viewers every week of the year in the UK. Last year, ITV had more viewers than all the streaming services combined on 121 days of the year. Critically acclaimed Mr. Bates vs. the Post Office proves the power of TV, breaking all records to become ITV's biggest new drama in over a decade. Wow, over a decade? Was it really that long? Goodness me, I told you they're on a winning streak with the drama. ITV Studios' global footprint spans 60 production labels across 13 countries, and its global distribution business sells its catalogue of over 90,000 plus hours to broadcasters and platforms around the world. That certainly do be a big catalogue. Interesting to note then that it says ITV had more viewers than all of the streaming services combined on 121 days of the year. That is practically almost a third of the year belonged to ITV. That's quite impressive for a broadcaster that's been going since 1955. And again, if it's saying all of them combined, obviously we're assuming like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video. Are they also including things like the iPlayer, like video on demand services? But hey, despite them saying streaming's taken over, if a traditional broadcast channel can claim it had more viewers than all of the streaming services combined for a third of the year, maybe traditional telly's not quite done just yet. Jane Stiller, who is the ITV Chief Marketing Officer, said, "Brilliant content and creativity sit at the heart of everything ITV does, and the refreshed group brand acts as a more vibrant and contemporary embodiment of this. From today, the refreshed branding will be updated and implemented in phases across the whole business." Right, okay. So you might not see this change, at the time you're watching this on the day it uploads, but certainly over the next few weeks and months, you will see this corporate logo pop up in more places. As far as I'm aware, you won't notice any difference necessarily in the idents of the channels because the idents have their own separate logos. They've been in place since late 2022. And as far as I can tell, they aren't going to change. Particularly ITV1's not going to change because the colour of that, the look of that is emboldened in this new logo. I think having ITVX as part of the new logo, or certainly its colour as part of it, highlights ITV's commitment to this service. I think before it launched, there was a bit of skepticism that if this doesn't do well initially, are they just going to drop it? But I think the fact that they're really going to push for this, they're including it in the overall corporate logo and stuff, I think this highlights that they're committed. They want to see this service grow. It is growing, it is doing well, and they want to push that even more to supercharge streaming, as they say. And optimizing broadcasting is an interesting term. It's not like consolidating or concising, but optimizing. And they've only highlighted ITV1, which does make me wonder, as we talk of companies slimming down, traditional TV companies slimming down or moving more things online, like, Channel 4 sub-channels might be going off traditional telly soon. BBC 4's moving online, things like that. The word optimize is just an interesting choice of word because it implies to me that, say, for ITV's 2, 3, 4B, etc., their future on traditional telly may not be secure. Maybe they'll move online as well if we're really talking about optimizing, because everyone wants to make savings in the TV business right now. Everyone's trying to optimize, everyone's trying to slim down. Let's just look at some of the corporate logos of ITV past. Now, you might be surprised to know that before 1989, they didn't really have one big brand. This is the first corporate logo, if you like, of ITV PLC, introduced in 1989 and used across most of the network, because obviously ITV has that rich history in terms of regional output. Depending on what region you were, you get different idents, you get different companies helming that, like Granada, Yorkshire, Tyne Tees, Thames, London Weekend, all of that sort of stuff, which we have covered on this channel before. But in 1989, they wanted that unified brand. I mean, everyone called it ITV. It was always known as independent television, but this was the first corporate brand here. So, I mean, this, to me, screams very late 80s. Its design is very, especially that blue triangle with the lines. I don't know, that screams 1980s for me. This did last throughout most of the 90s. It changed in 1998 to this, which I think is what I first got introduced to with ITV when I was growing up. And, the blue and yellow, it does work. It is a bit IKEA-ish, very logo IKEA, blue and yellow. And, the idents sort of reflected that as well, I thought. But again, this was to try and make it less highbrow in the eyes of people, make it more fun, more accessible. And this lasted until 2006, and then the logo changed to this, which I'd argue personally, this is like the most sterile, if that's the right word, of the corporate logos. It is literally just, the 3 letters. They don't really scream anything to me. It's a bit boring. If anything, they made it a bit dull, I think. That's not to say the idents weren't good. There were some good idents in there during that time, but the corporate logo wasn't really it. And then again, as you can see here, this is what debuted in early 2013 and has stuck until 2024, until this one came in, as we said. Pretty much since 2013, you've had this style. You've had this style which, again, I think communicates friendliness and openness, a warmth. I do think the colour blending on this new one is a lot better than the old one. The old one had its charm. I remember when that old one debuted in 2013, I didn't really like it. I didn't think it did the ITV brand any favours, but the more I saw it, the more I got used to the idents and the theming and the concept of it all, the more I came around to it over the last decade. And this one, again, I do like it better initially, like I like this better than the 2013 version. I am curious to see how quickly it's going to roll out across ITV's brand as a whole. They're saying that's starting now. Is it going to take several years, or is it going to be done really swiftly? We'll have to wait and see. But I want to know your thoughts on this. What do you think about this particular corporate rebrand for ITV? Do you like it? Do you like the styling of it? Do you think they should have gone for something completely new entirely, really break the mold on this one? Let me know all your thoughts on that in the comments down below. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. And I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Bruce Danton, Globe of Reviews, Derek Chambers, Shaun Knock, Daud Khan, Liam Domain, Trev Hughes, AJ Mac 200017, Deck KP20, Simon Harrison, and Evan Hart 38, our AMTV staff members.